And par for the course. They win their opening match of the season last week, but there was the manner in which they did it. Right from the first set, they were dialed in beating Brisbane. And Cameron Smith takes them out onto a ground they've had great success. In fact, their record against Canberra is outstanding. And from a Raiders viewpoint, it's their worst win percentage in the competition against any rivals. So Canberra have a lot of trouble against this Melbourne side. And Melbourne club and Cameron Munster are yet another key figure for the team tonight.
Gee, I love running 5'8". I heard the boys talking a little bit earlier about him. Cameron Munster took on the line last week, and also Jack Whiten. I like big 5'8". You think of all the great ones over the period of time with Wally Lewis and those sort of guys, Brad Fittler, Laurie Daly, big 5'8".
Well, here we go. Raiders' first home match of the year. We love coming to GIO Stadium. The Viking clap not too far away, and on the giant horn tonight, Chris Houghton, a member of their 88 and 89 side and a club member. Reception. The Raiders are in the house. Josh Hodgson, Jared Croker at the head of the team, and chasing a little piece of history. Maybe this is wishful thinking, but never in the great history of the Raiders club have they kept a side scoreless, or in consecutive matches kept their opponents scoreless. Let's see if they can do it against the Melbourne Storm. That'd be a mighty scout. Jordan Rapana, back from shoulder surgery, well ahead of time. That is a huge boost. Yeah,
unbelievable too, at the back end of the field too, along with Nick Kotrick too. Those two guys can really bring the football back for the Canberra Raiders. Great performance last week by the Raiders, but I reckon in the back of their mind, they would have been thinking about this game. There's Bateman now. You're going to see a lot of this bloke. He was outstanding last week. Great work rate. Whether he can do it for 26 weeks in a row, we'll wait and see.
This match can be seen in 4K as well. Channel 444. Rugby League like you've never seen it before on Fox Sports. And you've got to be excited about this tonight. This potentially could be as good as any match this weekend. Canberra bring their A game. Melbourne will be pumped. It's only round 2, but I reckon these two sides can turn it on tonight.
Run, guys.
Your Friday night starts right here, right now on Fox League, off the boot of Jared Croker. And the Storm winners over Brisbane last Thursday week. This man outstanding, Jesse Bromwich. In fact, Bromwich, Smith, Munster, Jerome Hughes, take your pick out of that four for best on ground last week. And they will all play a role here. Ground immaculate condition as Bromwich goes for another run. Both the Bromwich boys scoring tries last week. A rare event. Now Cameron Smith, and along for Big Nelson. Nelson Asafa Solomon are almost up to halfway. And now Smith sends him down the right side. Croft kicking with purpose. Right to the corner. Nickel Klokstad. Only 9th game of his career. It's a big deal coming up against a side like the Melbourne Storm for the former Warrior. And some early pressure on the Raiders right here. Just 5 metres away from their own line. Croker to play it, but this is a Melbourne side attacking with their defence in the opening set of the match. And if they keep this up, this is very much the way they started against Brisbane. Papali with that ball. And last tackle it is, and they've made 18 metres in their opening set of the night. That's great work from Melbourne. Vunivalu on the kick, and as a result of that defence block, look where they start the set from.
Yeah, they just speed off the line too. It was a great set just to work up. They're very clinical, aren't they, the Melbourne Storm, on the back of that kick. That's a poor start too, the kick downfield, but you can see the pressure being put on the kicker. Melbourne already with the advantage up over the halfway line. They're 40 out.
40-second meeting between these sides. Storm of 130, Raiders of 111. For Solomona, nice tip on there to Bromwich. Mixing it up beautifully there, the big fella. He'll be the decoy that time, and Munster with a little skip, and a fend beats two. Munster ridden towards the sideline by Hodgson. Last it is now for the Storm. And does Chambers know it? He gets a late kick and he'll get a result. No, he won't. Nickel Klogstad. Beautiful work.
The only one chaser going through there, as you said, Chambers, I don't think he knew it was the last until the call came through. But Klogstad, what a return, kick return from him. Only one chaser from the Storm.
It's Nickel Klogstad. He's a good young fella. Has an unusual record, has scored 3 try doubles in his career. He's only played the 7 of the 8 games now. And he's been on the losing side all 3 times when he scored 2 tries, which is an unusual one, as Melbourne concede the first penalty. But this is the work of the former Warrior right here. Lovely work.
Yeah, he's got good footwork too, and a little bit of pace off the mark. Wasn't a great chase there from the Melbourne Storm. The Canberra Raiders win the first penalty, just laying in a little bit too long in and around the ruck. They'll kick for touch right now.
What's even better for Jones, he has his partner Sarah and his sons Rio and Kyrie here to watch him play. They weren't with him 6 weeks ago when he made the move across from the New Zealand to link up with the Raiders. He lived the bachelor life for 6 weeks before the family joined him, and now they get to see him at his new home. It's a big thrill for him tonight. Here's Bateman, so impressive last week. Tough as a $2 steak, they reckon. He's 25 metres away from the Storm line. Hodgson taking them up to the right side, cut out the ball, they lure quick, but put down. So no love there on that right channel early there. Rapana couldn't rope it in.
Yeah, a lot of times Joey Leilua just tries to force his hand a little bit. A lot of times it does come off too. Down this right-hand side, very dangerous. Look at the pass, catch and pass. Rapana, probably not, could be a little bit deeper there, through the arm out. There's the knock on. Melbourne get the football back.
Lovely fine conditions for this match. Just a little further up the highway, there was an electrical storm outside of Goulburn earlier today and plenty of heavy rain. Megan Barnard, though, it's nice and fine here in Canberra.
Yeah, spot on, Vossi. We were expecting rain and thunderstorms, but the weather gods have intervened and given us clear skies and balmy conditions for now at least. But no complaints either way from this lime green army that has assembled here tonight. They like what they saw last week, and we'll be hoping for something similar here at home. It won't be easy, though. This has been a happy hunting ground for the Storm in recent years, but make no mistake, this new-look Raiders side, they'll be up to the task.
In fact, is now Munster slices through. Kenny Bromwich is there. Delivered an early pass, perhaps. Keep going left might have been the way. Chambers and the Fox out there. Now Munster stepping again. At his start of the game, Cameron Munster. How elusive, how strong he is. As for Solomona, that's a big dummy half there. Farukin back on the inside, runs into Bateman. Last tackle Melbourne, 15 out from the line. Cameron Smith with it. Brodie Croft now to kick out towards Vunivalu. Here comes Surley. Look at the leap, it was big. But back into the clutches of Croker. Canberra back in possession.
He's always in the right spot at the right time there, Croker. As you said, Vunivalu went high to try and take that football and try to knock it back. And right on the spot there that time, Croker, the captain, or the co-captain of the Canberra Raiders. Well done.
What about the replay on Fox League right there? The work of Vunivalu, the height, hands above the head. Brilliant stuff. Tarpany with the ball for Canberra. They are hanging on here, the Raiders. Hodgson with it. Louis quickly on and held with it as Whiten. 18 metres inside their own half. Hodgson, they're going to kick through halfback Caesar. His kick is out on the full. Well, more pressure on the home side here. Melbourne not putting a foot wrong.
And it was Cameron Smith. There's been the difference to the two teams. Cameron Smith putting the pressure on, whereas Brodie Croft has been allowed to kick with hardly any pressure on him. This is the sort of result you get a turnover straight away. Here comes the Melbourne Storm.
We can mention this has been a happy hunting ground for Melbourne. Wasn't so long ago they topped 60 points here. There's a few members of the team that remember that biggest ever win over the Raiders. So this is 20 metres out with Smith. Allowed to run on to Croft. Kafusi is sharp. Hughes under Vunivalu with a passage all the way to the corner. Suli. Vunivalu scores the opening try on this Friday night. It's a beauty from Melbourne.
Well, they were building to it, wouldn't they? They've had a great start to the game. All the field position here from the Melbourne Storm. Vunivalu. It's Cameron Smith who gets out again. The second man play, the turn-up play straight on the outside to use. Vunivalu just knocks out of the way there, just with the hip, and scores the opening try. Beautiful pass on the outside there from Hughes. Vunivalu goes in for the first try. Got one up on Kotrick.
Yeah, Kotrick's a strong player, as we know, but he's wrong-footed, and, well, in the end, he's tried to go the shoulder. He's probably lucky he's unsuccessful perhaps from a judiciary point of view. But Vunivalu equally strong and scores the try. Yet another one, 62 for the career, and now 3 straight games where he has scored at least one against Canberra.
He's amazing when he runs from dummy half, Cameron Smith. No one bites on him. They all look at him and they ball watch. They see what he's going to do. That time it was a second man pass out to Hughes. It was a beautifully timed pass. They're so good at it, the Melbourne Storm.
What it has done has left a sideline conversion for Cameron Smith. He starts tonight 8 short of 2,400 points, looking to become only the second man to reach that figure. Look at the Raiders fans. Yeah, give it to Cameron. Lolly legs. Here he goes. 25 out. Decent strike, but not swung back quite enough. So 4-0 the scoreline. Storm over Raiders. Megan sideline.
We talk about Suli Vunivalu, his speed, his power. He's a try-scoring machine, and with that effort, he officially opens his account for 2019 and moves 1 try away from going into equal 7th on the Storm's all-time try scorers list. He sits just 1 shy of joining former centre Stephen Bell on 63 tries. And get ready for Suli to climb that list as the season goes on, Bossy.
Yeah, what a record. What a record it is. And how exciting is it to have Vunivalu on the right and Adu Carr on the left? And it's headed down towards the Fox, but it's Munster who intercepts and links up with Jesse Bromwich. Good front rowers. No better man to comment on front row play than Steve Rake, but they've got good footwork too, these two for Melbourne.
Yeah, late footwork at the line too. That's the main thing. They can go to that defensive line and put on a little bit of a shimmy or a little bit of a step. They always find themselves and find their way in space.
1 metre so far, Melbourne dominating that and have done from the opening set. Brighton looks to arrest that with a nice run. Nukin was down after that previous run. This one fielded by Hughes. The impressive Jerome Hughes, who ran for 207 metres against Brisbane, scored officially the first NRL try of the season.
They just look dangerous every set, don't they, Melbourne? On both sides of the field and through the middle. Got a lot of football. Canberra look like they're hanging on here.
Yeah, well, a bit like Brisbane last week. Cameron Smith now. Out for Nukin. See, I thought Brisbane did really well to only be down 10-0 against Melbourne. I think other sides would have been down by 20 or more. Canberra find themselves in the same boat here as Croft sends Vunivalu through. Have a look at him flash through. One of the Fijian Flyers. In fact, I was only thinking during the week, if there's ever a rugby league competition that just has wingers, Fiji may be world champions. And Vunivalu was one of the best.
Vunivalu gets in for his second try too. Just a heap of pressure. They just put all the sort of pressure on you. The Canberra Raiders couldn't hang on. They go up the short side. They keep you interested on both sides of the field. And just look at that bounce for Vunivalu. No one really makes the contest. It just marches out underneath the post. A lot of blokes caught flat-footed there. They're on the run, the Canberra Raiders. Any one of 3 players in the picture could have scored that try. And there it is for the Melbourne Storm. 8-0 with the kick to come.
There was a game in 2016, his first season in the NRL against Manly at Brookvale. Sully scored 4 tries in the first half. He's got a double here in fairly quick time.
If you have a look at it, Andrew, Clockstead, the fullback, is the man that puts the challenge on the kicker. So what's he doing up there running from second marker to put the pressure on? Caught out of position, the grubber kick through and they score. Clever.
Cameron Smith lines up an easy one from in front. We'll count down the chase for El Masri's record. It's only a matter of time, and Hassan would know that. But Vunivalu, maybe in a few years' time, we'll be talking about try-scoring records, because it's amazing what he has achieved. Now 63 tries in his 72nd game of rugby league in the NRL. And he's done it right from his very first game. We saw him at Leichhardt Oval with the Storm. Same match. It's an incredible story. Same match that Josh Addo-Carr makes his debut playing for the West Tigers. They both score tries. And now they're grand final winning teammates.
Time you run.
The best thing about those two guys, they only need half a chance, don't they? They'll finish it off.
So for the restart of play, Jesse Bromwich with the ball. Back up to the 20-metre line. But this is just a continuation of the first half from last week. Melbourne. Clinical is underselling them, because it's better than clinical what they're doing. They are playing what's in front of them. There's a bit of football in this side. Don't worry about that. They're not just completing sets.
Bossies, we see Sia Soliola getting in on the action there. Ricky's made his first change, going to his bench.
The other bench boys are up too. Young Horsburgh, look forward to seeing him in his second game of first grade. Corey Horsburgh taking on the Melbourne pack. Now Bromwich with that footwork again. Rolls up over halfway. Company, the player replaced in the Raiders side. Klogstad hasn't put a foot wrong on the end of kicks tonight.
Police.
We were told Melbourne in preparation for this one, Bellamy was very much old school. He pulled out the bucket of water and they were dunking the balls in the water, preparing for what was forecast to be a wet and slippery night here. It's a delightful evening, autumn's evening here in Canberra. And now Hodgson for Soliola.
They've just used up so much juice defending early in this game. The Canberra Raiders, there's been real no offloads or no spread of the footy.
Wide and out to Croker to kick that time. I don't know whether they've had a kick find the grass yet, have they? The Raiders. Hughes returns that one.
You've got to put that down to the pressure that the chase has put on the kicker. Every time there's someone there for the Melbourne Storm trying to charge down a kick.
Melbourne completed 9 of 10 and have had 61% of the ball so far. And Smith on to Welsh. He's on the field, replacing Nelson Asafa-Solomona. Melbourne bench was good last week against Brisbane as well. Chambers has rocked. Chambers rocked. Lapina and Leilua there. Now Munster, one of the Canberra chasers, was knocked down, and Munster off the outside of the boot. But this is a penalty for interference on the Canberra defender coming through.
Now a little bit of shoulder there from Cameron Smith. We saw Josh Hodgson trying to chase through. A little bit of gamesmanship there from the hookers going against each other. There's been plenty of talk about it.
I've taken your point, but I didn't see it that way, Cam.
Tongue-in-cheek, I'll say, the referee's conferring there on the decision. Here it is here, Cameron Smith. Well, Josh Hodgson, what's that English soapy? Carnation, Coronation Street. Is that an English soapy? He might get a start in that. Centrefield they come with Havili on for the Raiders, 30 away from the Melbourne line. And now for Soliola. The Raiders fan get a little lively for the first time since the Viking clap. Caesar and Whiten, better setup. Nickel Klokstad into the line and takes on Croft, and it's offloaded around the corner. Kotrick feeling like he owes his team one at the moment. 7 metres away from the line. Now they're really boisterous, the fans. And kept going by Louis, and a poke to the corner is way too big. Rapana would have needed to hire a cherry picker to get up there and get that one.
Well, they would have been better off trying to build a little bit of pressure. Caesar there trying to kick crossfield. Here's the big hit here. That one's on Chambers. Get that into you. I reckon there'll be a few bruised boys tomorrow morning.
With your foot down, don't force.
That's a great shot.
That's come from a bloke who's had a crook shoulder too. Wrapping up.
Melbourne back with the ball.
Get out of there. Straight to lever.
16.5 minutes remaining this first half. The first game of a huge double on Fox League. We start at GIO Stadium. We go to Suncorp later tonight, straight from here, for the Broncos and the Cowboys. Remembering 8 of the last 10 meetings between those clubs decided by 6 points or less. Plenty of those by just the 1 point. Now Kafusi with it. Who's to say it won't happen again tonight? Now Smith on for Brandon Smith, who played 39 quality minutes against Brisbane last week.
He's never tackled this kid. Like a little bull terrier.
Fearless, and there you go. There's the commentator's curse on show early. A real knock on. They tell me he warmed up for the game earlier today. He was on the PlayStation playing the Rugby League live game. He was playing Storm versus Cowboys. And he had Jesse Bromwich scoring tries and picking his team. So he's still a young fella at heart.
20 seconds for us to start winding.
But a hell of a talent. All quality in that last week. The 14 runs, 137 metres, 18 punishing tackles.
Yeah, on me. That's fine. Wait. Heads down. Blocked off.
Getting
Here we
the
go. Holding
worked out of who's where from this scrum. He's out of the scrum and he's in that tackle. Two away from the Storm line. Travelling a little better right now, Canberra. In the back of Melbourne conceding a penalty in possession, and then a lost ball as well. Now Bateman with it. Ryan Sutton, we'll see later on tonight, only had the 12 minutes against the Titans. And the fourth of the Englishmen in the squad. Louis is off. Horsburgh is on. You see him there in 17. He's pushed over for his troubles. Nickel Klokstad, nice footwork there. 10 away. He's tackled Canberra. Hodgson, double pump. Hard pass then. Caesar kicks out, looking for Kotrick. Oh, Vunivalu.
Up now.
Fijian Airlines flying high again there.
What about the timing there? Vunivalu. The kick was up. It was a good chase through by the Raiders. That was the right sort of kick that time. A little bit better. But Vunivalu just snaps it out of the air. You're right, Muzzy rules too, wouldn't he? Look at this above his head. What's this for a take? He's 8 foot in the ground, from the ground. Great take.
And then some, probably. With arms outstretched. Better defensive set here by Canberra. Some little whack in the tackles. And proving a little tough. Only 23 metres made by Melbourne. That's the best defensive set of the match for Canberra. There's no question that penalty has just given a little momentum shift here. The one conceded by Melbourne in possession against Cameron Smith, and Canberra picked up from that point. So the same scoreline that Brisbane found themselves last week against Melbourne. And gee, the Storm, terrific front runners.
Just have a look at the way they take you down to the ground. There's no standing in the tackles against the Melbourne Storm. The way they get numbers in there, hit you on the ground, then squeeze you when they got you down there. Hard side to attack against.
Now, low ball on a Havili, quickly on. Soliola almost did the same. Kafusi just able to wrap up the arms there. Hodgson gets there late and kicks to the corner. In fact, over the sideline. Still don't mind it. I think Canberra are back in the contest now, but they've given their opponents a 10-point start.
We're getting on the front foot with that sort of kick. That's the right one. Let's give his team a little bit of a break, but it does the same sort of thing for the Melbourne team. When they're marching upfield, just watch it, how comfortable they are at getting up over that advantage line. That's the difference has been Canberra's ability to put their big men on the ground and being able to do it early in this game.
A battle of tactics too between the coaches' former teammates at Canberra. Craig Bellamy, Ricky Stewart.
Let it in.
Won a premiership together back in 1990. Love the tunnel here in Canberra. For our viewers who don't get to experience what we do, Block, there's the wall of honour. Every player who's played for Canberra is listed on the wall, and Craig Bellamy comes up as Raider number 26. As a representative of Canberra from the early days. Penalty goes to the Storm.
Flopped in and then to ruck slow.
Brandon's got a little problem there.
It's a great advantage now to get a penalty there. They're a little bit under the pump the last 10 minutes, the Melbourne Storm. They get that relieving penalty. Always fighting to get to their feet. Win that penalty, just laying on a little bit too long. It was a bit of a tough penalty, that one. I think he was injured and stayed down that long.
All manner of footy boots the players wear these days. Brandon Smith with the boots that only have the white stripes on one side and then they're black on the inside. Then you've got the laceless boots these days that they wear as well. Cameron Munster on with Welsh. Got an offload in him, Christian Welsh. We know that. Can cause some problems. Brandon Smith, Croft. Swamping tackle. Lights went out for Brodie Croft. Munster with it now. Dummy would have been obstruction if he kept running. And he screwed himself into the ground there.
Stand! Hold Corey, wait!
4 tackles up for the Storm. To the right side of the line. Croft quickly on. Scott Vunivalu! Hat-trick time! Inside 30 minutes. Well, maybe he will match what he did at Brookvale 3 years ago. Suliasi, he's got a hat-trick inside 30 minutes in the nation's capital.
Well, they got him for numbers there. Just look how quickly Curtis Scott passes the ball. It's a wide pass. Look at that. Croft there. Brodie Croft. It's just so easy. Every time they come down this end, they look destructive. That's a beautiful catch and pass. You won't get an easier one than that. And that's number 3.
Didn't get a hat-trick last year in any game, Suliasi, and he's 15 tries scored, but he's got one here in round number 2. So the meter is ticking. 64 career tries in 72 matches.
You know what they do, Andrew? They must count numbers. Someone out there, whether it's Cameron Smith or Brodie Croft, they got him for numbers again. On their left-hand defence. Every time, as I mentioned, every time they get down here, they look very dangerous. The ability to score. Another tough kick now for Cameron Smith.
All right, Canberra got some soul-searching to do. They've done well in the probably 8 or 9 minutes leading up to that try being scored, and haven't been able to defend their line. Over to Cameron Smith. Second one right from the touchline. That's the only drawback of Vunivalu getting the tries out on the flank. Doesn't often miss 2 in a row from the sideline, so he's a little astray with the first one. Let's see how he goes this time. As he swung it back, enough off the post. 1 from 3 for Cameron. 14-0 Melbourne over Canberra.
Andrew, just have a look at the tackles made. 134 to the Canberra Raiders to 98.
This is the 3 tries. If you joined us late, Vunivalu, his first one. Now played again, Sam. What happens here off the kick? Surly flashes through, dream bounce. There's the second one. And now the third one. Curtis Scott serves it up on a platter. Surly only had to catch and score.
Time you run.
It's another hat-trick in the career of Suliasi Vunivalu. Poor old Josh Adokar has barely touched the ball, the Fox. Nothing coming his way.
Well, it has come down this side a couple of times I mentioned a bit earlier, Kenny Bromwich has made a couple of inroads, but just hasn't been able to link up with him. Otherwise, he would have got a couple too.
Melbourne looking good. 14-0, Croft and Kafusi. Whitehead and Whiten there. Away goes Curtis Scott. Well, you see young men mix through this squad, but they're players that have had all that big match experience. I mean, Scott's had a couple of grand finals now. He's kicked downfield. Nickel Klogstad needs to get to it. And some nice footwork to get almost back to the 30. Are up for Leilua now. Leilua scored a couple of tries last time. Well, Canberra haven't beaten Melbourne since 2016. Leilua scored a couple of tries on that occasion. He's lost the ball there. Kenny Bromwich, Chambers, on it comes to the Fox. Look out. And a car caught by Bateman and Rapana.
Be a lot happier here this evening at Canberra. Got soaked last week, poor old Rick.
Well, that's the only good news for Ricky at this point.
He'd rather be sitting in the pouring rain if he was in front, wouldn't he?
Absolutely. He'd sit out in the snow. Finucane with it. 12 metres away from the line.
Over 60% of the ball too. They'll carve you up if you keep giving them the football. Melbourne Storm.
Smith hit hard, but they're ready to go left or right here, Melbourne. They're going to come towards Vunivalu's wing. Finucane can't offload. That's tackle 4. What pressure on Canberra this is. Kept their opponents scoreless last week. Now they're 14-0 down. And Kenny Bromwich trying to slide through, offloaded.
Aiden.
Penalty against Aiden Caesar. He was offside. They played advantage.
That was some sort of pass there from Kenny Bromwich. Just couldn't handle it that time used, but they got caught inside the 10 metres. They'll keep the heat on here, won't they, Melbourne? 14-0. What's this for a pass? Wonderful skill. He's had a good first half, Bromwich, although most of the players gone the other way.
Cameron, let's go. Cameron.
I don't know about you, Block, but I can feel a fourth try for Vunivalu coming before half-time.
On his foot.
With so much attack taken out the right. Here they are, a full set. Smith, Finucane to Croft, and up came Croker. Did the job. Turned over there for Whitehead. And well done, the Raiders. Only the third incompleted set by Melbourne tonight. Raiders, meantime, have completed only 7 of 12.
Spun him right around, Brendan. Spun him right around.
And on the back of the Croker tackle, now they get a penalty. And this will become a very big set.
They've got to get on the scoreboard before half-time, haven't they? To be any chance in the second half. The Canberra Raiders. A little bit of a stop-start. They've got to do a lot of defence. That's got to take it out of you.
Make sure you stick around for the second game tonight. I know you will. Can Jason Taumalolo do again what he did last week to the Dragons? Just one of the features to look forward to tonight. Broncos and Cowboys here on a Friday night on Fox League in Suncorp Stadium. Horsburgh to play it there. And Caesar and Soliola in support. Didn't offload. 15 from the line. Hodgson delivers short. Avili.
Let go of the ball.
Just a bulldog his way over. He's only 5 away. Hodgson with a pump and then a kick. It's off the post. Horsburgh's offside. Smith has the ball. Horsburgh will be ruled offside. He just couldn't resist falling on Smith. He didn't chase the ball, but then it didn't occur to him that he couldn't be involved in the tackle either.
Well, they needed something a little bit special there, didn't they? He aimed for the post here, Hodgson. Look where Cameron Smith is. It's a good take. And regathers. Another penalty to the Melbourne Storm. Had to try something a little bit different that time, the Raiders.
So much to look forward to this year in the NRL. Cameron Smith kicking for the sideline, but what about the Magic Round? One round, one ground. Going to Suncorp Stadium, Brisbane, May 9 through 12. You can get your tickets at nrl.com/tickets. All 8 matches at the one venue across Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think that may be Rugby League Nirvana, Block. The Magic Round.
I'll be buying a ticket if I don't get a run. Yeah, good. Fly up myself.
We'll find a spot for you.
Yeah, good.
On the Greyhound bus. we'll go up on a Monday, Block, on the bus. And now Jerome Hughes. Maybe the Gold Coast Motor Rail will catch the train up. Do they still have that? You put the car on. We'll drive the distance once we get to the border. Now Smith on the Munster to halfway. Cameron Smith scoops it up. Hughes with the ball. Melbourne very direct. 2 minutes to go, first half. 14-0, penalty on tackle 5.
Neck, you're twisting him with your neck. You can't stay up around the neck. He twisted him right around.
With 3 penalties in a row there to the Melbourne Storm. You can't afford to be doing that when you're behind on the scoreboard, 14-0. Have that little bit of discipline. Just offering Melbourne another opportunity before half-time. Here's the tackle over the top.
Yeah, unhappy Corey Hillsberg conceding a couple of penalties, and now there'll be another one. And well, you've got the option. You could go for goal with 90 seconds to go. Kenny Bromwich took it upon himself to tap and run. Well, now Canberra, they have to hang on as a Brandon Smith quality run again. He's a terrific player. He's a tyro. Here is Munster, delivers short for Nukin, just held by Whitehead and Whiten. Couple of metres short of the line. Cameron Smith swings around. Brodie Croft, dummy and run. Was that obstruction? Round the back of Kafusi. Then around Brandon Smith. And it's a penalty, a fine all of a sudden. This one goes the Green Machine's way. Fans think they're at the Super Rugby. And that takes the pressure off the Raiders with 49 seconds to go.
All the way, Brodie. Go.
He's a hard man to be totally happy, Craig Bellamy. He'd be disappointed with their last couple of visits down there to the Raiders 20. They've mucked things up, the Storm. And the bounce here to Bateman. Bateman's headed cross country. Brandon Smith had him, missed him.
Release the legs.
Kafusi's got him.
Go 2.
Well, they've only completed 16 from 21 and they lead 14 points to 0.
Can he move?
So
I think he'd be happy with that.
These tackle counts up there for Canberra block. Bateman and Whitehead 20 each. Louis did 16 while he was on. Papali is now Croker off Whiten. Got the arm free, back to Whiten, cut off load. And that ends an impressive first half for Melbourne. Not so good for the Canberra Raiders in their first visit to home soil this year. 3 tries to that man in the first half, Siliasi Vunivalu. And at the break, it is Melbourne leading the Canberra Raiders by 14 points to 0.
Well, there he is, Dale Finucane. He lead the way, 121 metres in that first half. But I just love the way the Melbourne Storm forward pack share around the workload. Jesse Bromwich with 72 metres, and also Kenny Bromwich on this left-hand side has been destructive of 85 metres. Canberra have to turn around the possession in the second half. 76 possession to the Melbourne Storm. If they get that much ball, they'll do that to any side. So that's got to turn around for Canberra in the second half.
Hate to be the bearer of bad news for Canberra, but statistically, half-time leads for Melbourne against Canberra. They've won 29 of 30 when they have led at half-time. The margin is 14 here to start the second half, but there are points in this Raiders side. Second half underway from Cameron Smith. So the Green Machine need to click. In regular season last year, second only to the Rabbits in terms of points scored. They need to tap into a bit of that tonight to challenge the Storm. And Whitehead with the ball. You'd say on 40 minutes too, there's probably a 10-minute period where Canberra played well, but the other 30, Melbourne certainly on top. Going to convert those periods where you are on top against Melbourne into points, as here's Bateman with it. Not quite the numbers of last week for Bateman. 5 hit-ups, 20 tackles.
Waiting. Go 4. Kenny, too deep, mate.
Now for Horsburgh. Back up towards halfway. Get to see Ryan Sutton. He's the only fresh man for Canberra. There's a high ball from Whiten. Vunivalu looks where the sideline is and he catches it cleanly. And a big night. Suni Vunivalu.
It's going to be interesting to see for me how hungry this Melbourne Storm side are. They're really comfortably on the scoreboard. They've already lost the ball early. That's a concentration thing.
Well, that was terrific defence too. That was really aggressive from Canberra. Whatever Ricky said, maybe he used 2 words, fire up. And Canberra have taken that on field for the second half.
Christian.
And have forced the mistake off Curtis Scott.
Yeah, keep it cool here. Corey.
There we go.
Over here, Corey.
3, 4 defenders.
You guys are getting the ball, so nothing silly. Christian, no more.
And a little rub of the head too.
Let's bind. I'll short.
Second game of first grade.
I don't really think that's a go. They'll square up with him too. They'll take the number there.
How about that? No respect.
Hold.
Canberra scrum feed 20 away from the line. Hodgson. Caesar. And on then for Nickel Clockstad. Had a lot of work to do in the first half. The young fullback. Now Hodgson. And the back for Soliola. Early chances with Canberra here. He's lost the ball. Oh, boy. See Soliola.
Well, they got their opportunity, didn't they? They'd forced the error. They were 20 metres out when they got the football back. Soliola coming off the bench. Kafusi over the top. Just cops the knee on the way down. Accidental.
Big night here on Fox League, as I've mentioned. Brisbane v Cowboys straight up after this one. From Canberra to Brisbane we will go. Blocker, Cowboys, Brisbane.
Bend your backs.
Well, after what I saw last week, I think the Cowboys will be pretty hard to beat.
Head right in, see out.
Tolmalolo.
Wait for that out call.
I think he might be the best ball runner I've ever seen in the middle.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to. And you'll see it right here on Fox League, and also coverage of this game right now. If you have the 4K, it's on channel 444. Rugby League like you've never watched it before. Hearing some great things about the 4K service. And this game is in 4K again tonight. Welsh tackled short of the 30. Cameron Smith on to Finucane. How good is he going? Dale Finucane. I mentioned last week he was the only Melbourne forward to run over 100 metres in the grand final last year, and he topped the tackle count. It's a pretty fair double.
I think you know what you're going to get from him week in and week out.
Last play here. And a high ball from Munster. Nickel Clockstad is underneath it and knew there was trouble coming in the form of Chambers. That's a good take when you know you're going to get smashed. Now Kotrick. Clockstad ready for another run.
You see, this is what's happening when fatigue. I know it's only the start of the second half, but Melbourne with that much ball in the first half. No one pushing around the ball. A lot of one-out running here from the Canberra Raiders. You'll go nowhere against Melbourne doing that.
Well, that was 4 hit-ups, no forwards. And Avili, the first forward to be involved in the set. On tackle 5 on halfway. Hodgson has lost it. Oh, no. Poor Ricky.
Shock and play the ball, but Andrew. Cavalli it was. He's looking where he's going to pass the footy, the poor dummy half. Just the ball got stuck under his foot there. Error-ridden start to the second half.
Here it is from, well, it's Avili's error, not Hodgson's error. And Saliba Havili losing control of the ball at the ruck. So that is before the last tackle is underway, therefore we have a scrum. And the Melbourne feed it is.
Just little things, little errors like that right in the halfway line, inviting the Melbourne Storm into your territory.
Scrum clock buzzer's going to go off, isn't it? Have we forgotten about that? I don't know how it works, to be honest. Anyway, Munster's offload to Chambers. And Melbourne have possession 41 away from the Canberra line. Munster was very good early. Now Kenny Bromwich with it for the Storm. Well, who hasn't done their job for Melbourne tonight? Slow play the ball in the Horsburgh tackle there. Finucane, yet another run, got past Soliola. 25 from the line. Smith quickly to Croft, turn and pass. Hughes with it. Croker came again there to make the tackle. With Whitehead, more pressure on Canberra. Brandon Smith almost through the front line. He got past Horsberg, in fact, and then earns his side a penalty as he wrestled to get to his feet.
Worth their weight in gold, those sort of penalties. Fighting in the play the ball, trying to get to your feet as quick as you can. You'll take the shot at goal. The opportunity in the first half to do that a couple of times. Look at this fight. They play the ball to get up. The tackle over the top. Wins his team the penalty.
A couple of players have come off the bench that are so good. Brandon Smith is one of them that is essentially a hooker, but they can bring him on as a running forward. A bit like Jazz Stavunga at the Warriors. I mean, they're good enough to play starting 13 every week, but they find themselves as bench players, yet they come on and they do quality work. Every run, every tackle.
I like his attitude too. He's willing to bide his time. Andrew, he's already a national player. Just sitting behind Cameron Smith, but would be learning loads on the way.
And a gift for Cameron, who had another 2 to the career tally. 16-0 lead here to Melbourne. Megan Barnard on the sideline.
Yeah, the halftime report for you, Bossy. Ricky Stewart, as you'd expect, was pretty frustrated after that opening half. He kicked one of the tackle pads as he walked to the sheds as well. But his advice to the players, stay in the game, be more aggressive and be more like the Storm, I was told, he said. And as for Craig Bellamy, he was reasonably happy but stressed the importance of being more patient on the Raiders line, more completions and making a strong start to this second half.
Getting a report through grade 1 charge against Ricky for that attack on the tackle.
2 weeks for that these days.
Gone through conduct. We saw Mal Meninga back in his days. Fox League's Mal Meninga as a coach. I think there's vision of him kicking a chair on the sideline here.
Desi in the door.
Desi in the door. Now we've got the tackling pad.
I spoke to it too, Bossy. It wasn't happy.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. A, B or C. What would you rather do? Take the door down, kick a chair or kick a tackling pad? 15 inside their own half. Megan Barnard on the spot with that exclusive report on Ricky Stewart. We still love you, Ricky. And O'Carr. Right on halfway, Kenny Bromwich and Munster. Smith for Welsh. Cameron Mitha yet off the bench from Melbourne. Marion Sever waits to make his debut. And across it comes for Scott. And finished off there by Whitehead. No ball for Vunivalu there. Croft. Munster bombing from 35 metres out. And Nickel Klokstad with it. A little bit of protection from Croker. Hughes made the tackle.
Just do all the little 1%ers right, don't they, the Melbourne Storm? Have a look at them getting off their line now. I mentioned a little bit earlier, the one out running here from the Raiders. Just tired from doing a mountain of defence. Croker with the football now, but he'll be picked up and driven back. They need to find something here.
Well, for our viewers who joined us late, the statement was made early by Melbourne in this match. They had the ball from the kickoff, and then the first time Canberra had the ball, they only made 20 metres with it. Melbourne's defence and speed off the line, and it continued for much of the game. Here's a penalty conceded. That'll help the Raiders' cause.
And a little bit of a second grab that time from Cameron Munster. Bateman trying to get to his feet. It's a good one too now. They're just straight into the Melbourne Storm's territory. Just like that little bit of buzz, don't they? The Canberra side, they just need to try. They need to get on the scoreboard, give them some sort of hope here.
Maybe there'll be a lure offload that maybe opens things up. They work the right channel for Bailor and Rapana. That's where a lot of their tries can come from. Hodgson, such a key man, the dummy half. They're 30 metres out on tackle 1. Certainly not out of it in terms of points. At 14-0 down, Whitehead along for Whitehead. He's just inside the 20 now for the Raiders. 10 minutes into the second half. quickly for Hodgson. Wider ball there for Caesar. Then along Nickel-Klokstad with a little bit of swerve and step and offload. Back for Bateman. Bateman alive for Horsburgh. Does the same. Back for Bateman. Support on the left. Gets it there. Croker with the ball. Croker beats two and scores. Canberra, little bit of hot potato to score their opening try. Suddenly the lime green flag's away for the first time tonight. The giant horn goes off.
Well, Andrew, it's the first time they've been able to put any sort of passes together here. And it's Bateman again. The offload from Klokstad. He's the man that gets it all going. Bateman pushes away from a couple of players, doubles around, gets the football back. The long pass over the top to Croker. He's got plenty of work to do here. Just tried to push him there. He finds a late footwork. Here's a good skip out. Just goes around and collects the football again. Skips on the outside, pushes away from Croft. And that's good stuff there from Croker. Back on the inside. And that's exactly what they needed, the Raiders.
115 career tries, but I tell you what, the highlights reel of Bateman gets a little longer already in his second match in the NRL. What about this, eh? Not too many Australian fans, even though he's played the 15 tests for England, unless you watched his efforts for Bradford and then Wigan, you probably don't know too much, or you don't have an appreciation of what he's got. Wayne Bennett happy to use him back row or centres for England. And right there, you've seen the work of a very good rugby league player.
You can see how the pass breaks up the defence. I was mentioning a little bit earlier how one out the Canberra Raiders were. Look what they did. And they put a few passes together.
So Croker got to turn these forwards into six, and he won't do it there. Dirty on himself with that miss. So Smith's missed two tonight. Now Croker's missed one. Megan Barnard's sideline with 28 to go.
Yeah, I tell you what, Ricky Stewart would be really pleased with that. Yesterday he said he'd given his side the green light to back themselves in attack rather than take the old cautious approach. He said patience to a degree, but you've got to take your chances against this Melbourne side, and that is the perfect example of that.
No question. Bateman plays his part in the try. 16 points to 4, 12 the difference.
On Will.
28 to go. First game of this Friday night on Fox League. Straight to Suncorp after this for the Broncos and the Cowboys. Here's Soliola.
Let go now.
Lovely tackle around the legs by Brandon Smith. I don't think Canberra were that impressed with the third man in there. Thought it was a flop. Nikonifa now out there for Melbourne. And another penalty considered by the Storm. Here it was. That's the second one, and then the third. He was on the ground and held down.
It's great, those sort of penalties too, Andrew. After you've scored points, you don't really have to battle your way off your own line. You win a penalty on the second tackle. And march upfield now. Just need to find that little bit of spark, the Raiders.
Hey guys.
Who's it going to be?
Back-to-back penalties conceded by Melbourne. 6-all penalty count here. Still Raiders only completing 13 of 20 tonight. But sets where they get penalties are counted as completed sets. So that's a boost for them, no matter what tackle that is on. They've had 40% of the ball overall tonight. Tough to beat Melbourne with those sort of numbers. Hodgson, Whiten, comes left, Whitehead with it. And now Scott, Asifa Solomona there. Brandon Smith as well. They do a bit of really work him over there. Whiten in for Caesar, delivers short. No return offload there from Soliola. 20 out. Canberra fighting back. Hodgson, Caesar fires it out to Rapana. Adokar stood his ground with Chambers. That is tackle number 5. Canberra chance for big attacking kick here. Caesar, all the Raiders chasers onside. Croker's there. Kotrick got up, came off a Storm leg, I thought. Knock on against Melbourne, not off the leg, off the hand, in fact.
Well, they just needed a couple of things to go their way, didn't they? Back-to-back penalties have marched upfield, the crossfield kick. all of a sudden everyone's competing for the footy. Up they go, the ball goes back here, but knocked on there. That's a good pick-up. Knock on by Curtis Scott.
All right, this is getting interesting. Stacks of time in the game. 25.5 to go. Canberra's had a reboot here. And at 16 points to 4.
10 seconds, Curtis.
Could be 16-10 inside the next 60 seconds. Melbourne all over the play. What is going wrong? The scrum clock tonight is just irrelevant to what's going out on the field. Now Nickel Clockstad with the ball. Melbourne didn't have 6 in the scrum.
Square! Hold, Nelson, hold!
Now Hodgson. Horsburgh. Red-headed back rower in his second game, getting plenty of minutes.
And he's willing to.
Hodgson, Caesar, right hand. Running the tough line, and Brandon Smith finished off the tackle. Now pressure on Melbourne. Hodgson, Caesar, plenty of runners to pick from. Forced back in field. Gamitha came off the line for the Storm. Hodgson again. The wily Hodgson for Horsburgh! Oh, he almost spun his way over. Jerome Hughes saved the try. Hodgson, last tackle, Papali. Stacks on the goal line in Melbourne. Have forced a changeover right there.
Look at the hunger there from the Melbourne Storm, especially their fullback, Hughes. Come up with 2 pearlers. Horsburgh looked like he was over here as he spun out, gets underneath him there, and then makes the next tackle. Great stuff.
He would have thought he was going to spin over there, Corey Horsburgh, and Hughes saved the day for Melbourne. I wonder how Ricky felt about the power play on the last, though, now that they'd got down there. Repeat set there. That's what Melbourne would have done to you. Look for the repeat set. Canberra with a changeover. A Storm out of trouble, a recovery set for them. Jesse Bromwich coming back into the play for Brandon Smith, who's produced the numbers again in his stint off the bench. 8 hit-ups, 21 tackles from Brandon Smith. Raiders with Nickel Clockstad just outside the 30. And Canberra sending Ryan Sutton in for his second NRL game. He's replaced Horsburgh. And knocked down by Melbourne there.
Leilua just trying to stand in the tackle and offload.
Let's get 6 there, Melbourne.
I'd much prefer to see the Canberra Raiders behind on the scoreboard trying these sort of things. I know the ball was knocked down by a Raiders player here, but just trying something a little bit different. They need to do that.
Pull them in tight. Kenny, pull them in tight. We'll head in.
Saw in the try, a bit of offloading, broke up the Melbourne defence. It's easier said than done, of course.
Hold it there. Let it in, Jesse.
But
Ball.
don't want to die wondering. 16 points to 4.
Hold out.
They're not going to win this game, just completing sets. And from the scrum, a penalty. Differential.
10-metre one. 10-metre one.
There you go.
Gee, it helps you when you get a few in a row too, doesn't it? It's really turned around here in the second half. Penalties going Canberra Raiders' way.
Possession rates headed back towards the even mark. Here is Sutton, Wigan born and bred, playing for Canberra, 35 metres away from the Storm line. Now Hodgson and Papali, good run. Back behind the markers there. Well, the crowd will certainly come into the game if Canberra score again. Here's Hodgson. Into the cul-de-sac he went, away for Bateman. Will there be a try where all 4 Englishmen are involved? I'd probably break into God Save the Queen if that happens. As Caesar passes to Papali. And haven't done that since primary school.
I'll help you with the chorus.
5 away from the line. Hodgson. Up he comes for Caesar. Out the back it goes. Here's Leilua. There's the offload. Rapana. Knocked back it is. Canberra in possession. No restart of tackle count. No Melbourne hand. Last tackle Canberra. What can they do? Caesar tickles it over the top, clean take. Oh, Kafusi intercept. And Kafusi's away. Have a look at the speed. The hair in the breeze. Back for Vunivalu. Chasing a fourth try. Sule fools two and has tackled 19 away from the line.
Spread left.
Melbourne all lined up. Blocker's got the call for Scott. Centre field doesn't let it go. What are you doing, Curtis? What are you doing? Pass it, man.
Still on.
And hit by Papali. They had Canberra on the rack. Comes one tackle late left. Bromwich with the ball. Tackled by Soliola and Sutton. Now for Cameron Smith. Delivers straight. And the big fella lunges at the line. Did he double movement? I'm not sure. We go off to the bunker.
Tackle 4.
They've almost fallen asleep in the bunker
Just
tonight.
confirm that momentum brings him all the way to the line. Have a try.
Yeah, well, they're sending it up. Try.
Well, I think they've got the right call here. He doesn't advance the footy. Momentum's taking him over.
The momentum takes him to the goal line. We have a decision.
There you go, just like that. Nice and quick. Average time taken for bunker decisions last week compared to last year was improved, as in they reached their decisions quicker. Graham Annesley gave us those stats last Monday in the conference, in the media conference. And big Nelson Asafa Solomona, a front rower, scores the try. And I asked the question to mere mortals, how the hell would you stop him close to the line without an axe?
Well, I don't think you can. That was a great reply. It all come off the back of the Kafusi bust here. The ball on the ground, picks the football up, sprints downfield. And there's the difference between the two sides. The Melbourne Storm get the opportunity down the other end after they were under the pump, some try-saving tackles on their line. They turn around, go the full length of the field, and end up getting over the stripe.
Here he is, getting the ball.
Did well not to try and advance the ball there, Andrew. And as you said, you need an elephant gun to stop him there, eh?
Something like that, yes. So another one for Cameron. This will bring him within 2 of that 2,400 mark. Bettered only by Hazem. So Smith is 3 from 5 tonight. And Melbourne back in the driver's seat after withstanding a second half challenge here by Canberra, 22-4. Into the final quarter of the game we go with Brisbane and the Cowboys to come up straight after this one on Fox League, and then Super Saturday tomorrow. The news today, Paul Gallen confirming that this is his last year, so tomorrow equals ET. Cronulla versus the Titans. That'll kick off our Super Saturday tomorrow. Tell you what, Brookvale Oval tomorrow night. We've had a lot of rain in Sydney, but I was there during the week. Looked fantastic. You'll see it in the third game of Super Saturday tomorrow night when Manly hosts the Roosters.
They need to find something after their first up performance. It's the Eagles.
Sandwiched in the middle of those matches tomorrow, I'm expecting a big crowd at Newcastle for the tussle with the Panthers. So that's your lineup for Super Saturday. Storm with the ball on their 40. So just like last week, they've scored 4 tries. And this week they've kept their opponents to just the 1. Now Cameron Smith. And on for Jesse Bromwich. That little shuffle of the feet again. Sutton and Bateman in defence. Munster kicking to the corner of Rapana. He's with it. But they have to score next. They've got to have the next points on the board if they're to put any sort of pressure on Melbourne from here. Otherwise, the Storm will cruise home.
Well, they've got that unbelievable ability just to tick over the scoreboard, the Melbourne Storm. You look up, look like Canberra were back into the game early in the second half. You look up and you look at the scoreboard, 22-4.
Now out for Whitehead on that left side. Melbourne getting the job done in this set again.
Sometimes the stats can be... Oh, that's a shot.
Oh, boy.
Pulled off a couple of them last week, too, against the Broncos.
Yeah. I think Nick Kotrick and Matt Gillett might give Nick a call. Are you okay?
Sometimes the stats can put you off a little bit. When I looked at the stats at half-time, it was Cameron Smith with no running movers, but how good's his passing game been?
Well, he runs.
Unbelievable.
That's right. He takes off at an angle. And
he doesn't get tackled.
That's right. They don't count necessarily as hit-ups. But his work's as sharp as any time of his career. And you've seen that tonight. Everything starts from dummy half.
Well, just picking the right side to go every time. It's no fluke.
Beautiful passer. Cameron Smith. Here he is. And here he is kicking left boot before the last tackle as well. Have a look at the ball go. Clockstack gets across to it. It's a mighty kick from Smith. Now look at the chasers. Blocker said they do the 1%er so well. If you add up all those 1%ers, you get to about 156%. I don't know how that works mathematically, but they do a hell of a lot right. Melbourne, and you saw it again there. No, Leilua runs into Kenny Bromwich. Has a little tussle there with Rapana. They get a little heated down in the corner there. Kotrick's coming off the wing. There it was. Leilua at Kenny Bromwich, and then Rapana shirt fronts him. And Whiten almost through. On halfway, quick play the ball, last tackle. Hodgson stepping, but having to kick. Jerome Hughes underneath it on the run. Not as dominant as last week, but he's done nothing wrong. Jerome Hughes, he's a really good player.
I reckon when you look through Billy Slater's career, how many tries he stopped. Well, Hughes has done 2 in this game, so not only a running player, a try scorer and a tackle breaker, he can stop tries. That effort a couple of minutes ago was unbelievable.
You see the work there of Asifa Solomona passing back for Bromwich, then gets the return pass. Asifa Solomona suddenly thought he's half-back of 5'8". The big fella. Slowly to his feet. Nikamutha there, 22 away from the Melbourne line. And Sevet mightn't be far away from making his debut here. Kafusi! Just tackled there by Whiten. Last play with Melbourne. Brodie Croft was aiming for the pads. Doesn't get there. Oh, Caesar's almost got it off. And Kenny Bromwich almost stuck under his guard there to score.
Look how hard they chased too, the Melbourne Storm. The ball bounced at right angles that time. Bromwich nearly got there. Great chase.
Well, it could have been an embarrassing moment for Aiden. I don't think he realised how close the chaser was. But anyway, all's well that end well. But I'll tell you what, he scores. He did get there in time.
Release Cameron, come on.
I shot a halfway, 14 to go. The clock is ticking for the kick-off up at Suncorp. Can't wait. Cowboys and Broncos, you see it here on Fox League. Every game live. Caesar and for Sutton. Running at Munster. Now Bateman. Pretty sure he's won more admirers tonight. Offloaded there for Louis. Last tackle it is for Canberra. Hodgson just there in the nick of time. Whitehead. Ricochet. It comes back for Whitehead. Oh, coming to me. Throw back for Croker. He'll get over and score. There is a pulse.
6 more.
There is a pulse for the Raiders.
Yeah, well, there's a rip at the ball there by one of the Melbourne Storm players. I think it might have been Cameron Smith. The ball comes clean. Croker right on the spot, picks up the bouncing footy and goes in, plays on here. Here it is now. Watch the grab over the top. Cameron Smith just raking the football.
They don't want to check it. Touch judge had a view of it.
I got it wrong there. It was Curtis Scott. Just watch Scott here under the ball. Just rips at it now. Ball comes free. Croker on the spot. Spins out. Tried to make up for the error, Scott. And Croker's in.
Called it a strip 2-man tackle. They play advantage and Croker's got a double. So he's up to 116 career tries. The boy now a man from Goulburn.
A fair effort, isn't it? 116.
Well, we talk about Cameron Smith breaking Hazem El Masri's record. If Croker plays to the age of Cameron Smith, he's only 28, Jared Croker, he'll pass them as well based on his scoring rate if he remains the first choice kicker. So right on the touchline to get it back to 2 converted tries, the difference. He has to kick this. 11 to go. Croker, the trusty left boot. Right down the hey-diddle-diddle for that one. 22-10. Melbourne against Canberra. And following this one on Fox League, it is Brisbane against North Queensland. Grand final opponents from 2015. The night JT kicked the Cowboys to their first premiership win. They've since had Golden Point. They've had field goal game. Milford's been a match winner. It's just a game that we all look forward to. You don't have to be a Bronco or a Cowboys fan to appreciate an enticing battle, the Queensland derby.
Josh Maguire up against his old side too. That'll be interesting.
It will indeed. So the Raiders with Sutton. 22 plays 10. Melbourne clearly the better side, but if Canberra manufacture another try, that's not going to help. Sutton's come up with a mistake right in front of his own goalposts.
Just roll up, mate.
Oh, it's quite a roller coaster here for the Raiders fans watching this one.
Work it in, boys. Marks here, fellas.
The moves are over the top. Hands are there.
Canberra, arms around, fellas.
Sutton left it on the ground. The referee rules against
Come on, fellas.
the Englishman.
John, come on.
Just haven't been able to complete after they've scored points, have they?
Cameron, head in.
The Canberra Raiders.
Hold it there. Ball.
Poor old Marion Seve, he's still on the bike on the sideline. I'm hearing stats from Megan, he's done 27 Ks on the bike. As the ball comes out to Adokar, going for the corner, and the Raiders' commitment. They eat the fox in the corner there. There's about 7 of them in the tackle.
It was a perfect position to attack from, right in the middle of the park. They spread the football straight away. That's great defence. They scrambled so well. I think you find it was a halfback, Aiden Caesar. Just got on his bike and got across there.
Yeah, back to Marion Seve. He's waiting to make his first grade debut.
We're on the clock.
He has been
Everyone
on the
run.
bike, I reckon, for 70% of the match.
Hold it there. Hold it there. Ball.
To the front, he might
Hold,
be a hope.
hold, out.
He's put, he'll be kicking them out.
I think he's going minute on, minute off.
Spin class here in Canberra. I hope he gets on. Rapana with that run. And now Hodgson up for Sutton. He's a relief man after the error from the kickoff. 15 inside their own half. They get another penalty. This is not going to please Craig Bellamy. The piggybacks they've given Canberra tonight.
Right, Aiden.
The Raiders have got to find belief here. Canberra 40 metres from the Melbourne line. Offloads needed.
The possession's turned right around in the second half here.
Now the left side attacked and Whiten skips away. Croker. We've had one hat-trick tonight for Vunivalu. Croker could have one as well. Whiten, Hodgson, and in for Havili. Into Cameron Smith. Gamitha works him over the top. Hodgson, Sutton with it as Caesar, delivers short to Bateman. And Chambers got up in his face with Bromwich and Munster. So So Melbourne slow to play the ball there. Could have been a penalty against the Fox. 4 tackles into the set. Caesar stumbling. To within 5 of the line. Last tackle. 7 minutes to go. 12 points the difference. Papali on the last up. He caught again, surely. Josh Papali, second time in the half. It'll be a changeover.
Well, your halves have got to take control there again. It's Hughes under the tackle. Papali, as you said, caught again on the line. Just a desperation too from the Melbourne Storm, but your halves have got to take control here on the last tackle.
Yeah, look,
Haven't been able to build any pressure.
It's not horrible when an opponent has to come off their own line, but when you're behind on the scoreboard as Canberra are, you want more than that. Smith on to Finucane. Now can Canberra force a mistake out of Melbourne?
Release!
Cameron Smith. And on for Chambers. By the way, Marion Sever is about to come on, so he's off the bike. I can report he's well and truly loosened up. And as I say, he is quite a story. Beginning of 2012, this young fella was diagnosed with cancer. A little over 12 months later, he's playing representative rugby league at schoolboy level through the system that is Keebra Park. What a production line of talent has come through that Gold Coast school as Melbourne put the ball out on the full. So Sever is on in jumper 18. Munster makes a mistake.
You got the ball.
Door's not wide open, but it's not locked shut on Canberra just yet either. So stay with the play. Raiders with 5.5 to go. They pulled one out of the box last year against Canterbury at Belmore, where Blake Austin was a star. He's watching now from Warrington. Hodgson, 20 away from the line. Short side, roll of the dice, kicked over the top, and the Fox goes back. Will get a line drop out. It's a result of sorts.
They're lucky they got that result too early in the tackle count. They saw that the Fox was up in the line. Little chip over the top, something a little bit different. He cleans up at the back. And they get the result there. Hodgson chases his own kick and force the line drop out here.
Now the line drop out clock will come into play.
Seconds.
And Cameron Smith is watching that intently.
Time you
And
run.
he will use up every nanosecond here before he
Boys.
kicks.
Talking about Foxes.
He lets the microwave go down to 1 second, Cameron Smith. He's a badass. Now it's Papali with the ball. He's 35 away from the Melbourne line, and Vunivalu's jumping up for a drop ball. They say penalty.
Give him the ball.
Celebrations cut short for Sully there. Still time for Canberra, but they need to get on with it. I think I'll be having a committee meeting.
On this line.
Broncos, Cowboys, kick-off. Getting close. The ball is with Soliola. 30 away. Tackle 1. 4 minutes to go. Cameron Smith got his foot caught up there with Soliola.
Right up, Jail.
Come on. Tackle 1.
Now Hodgson. And then Havili. Melbourne able to prevent the offload. Still little opportunity. Soliola. Caesar along for Whitehead. Angles back towards the posts. Just for a moment he caught a glimpse of the line. Hodgson got the ball back. Whitehead with it. Met front on by Croft. Kafusi there as well. Now there's 3.5 to go. Halfway through the set, another penalty conceded. Might be far off sin bin here against Melbourne. Hodgson across for Caesar. Awful pass along the ground. Bateman off the deck. Nickel Klokstad with the ball. That's the first. 12 from the line. Still on for the Raiders. Havili. Melbourne's defence just a little too good up to this point. At 22-10. Now for Hodgson. Holds it up for Caesar. There is Whiten. Intercept. Couldn't find Kotrick. Vunivalu comes up with a ball. And a blatant surrender tackle. But Melbourne back in possession, and you've got to believe that was the last chance for Canberra, if there were any sort of hope, and it was only a very minor hope at that. Storm just too good. 22-12, they won last week. Looks like it's going to be 22-10. Magic ran in Brisbane. NRL.com/tickets if you want to make an inquiry right now. All sorts of packages there across the 4 days available. Croft kicking and takes it over the sideline.
Just going to have a look at the urgency to pack the scrum here. No, not long left on the clock here from the Canberra Raiders. Croft just working down the clock. Kick downfield, finds touch. They'll be as slow as possible to this scrum here, the Melbourne Storm.
I'm off. Scrum clock still going, fellas.
Possession really evened up here in the second half.
Heads right in. Heads in, Jerome. Lock them in. Clock off. Head right in, Josh. Ball.
And maybe
Ball.
the last set of the match for Canberra. 7-12 at home last year, but going to open with a defeat in 2019. Melbourne back-to-back winners, as South Sydney have been so far this weekend, and Cowboys looking to do the same shortly when they kick off against the Broncos. Now Rapana for Caesar, and on for Bateman. I will check in on his stats. 10 hit-ups tonight, 32 tackles, so he's topped the tackle count again for the Raiders. The Parley has led the way with the hit-ups tonight. They were 13. Oh, Croker's hit by Vunivalu. And Whiten cleans up. So right on halfway, Whitehead to play it. And Kotrick for Whiten. And centre field for Louis. It's winding down for Canberra. Hodgson and Whiten. Flat ball across to Kotrick. He'll kick over the top and chase. Look who's back there, Cameron Smith.
Let it go now.
It's not far off their pension card. Shouldn't be doing stuff like that. That's great work by Cameron Smith. And I say that tongue-in-cheek. That is a moment of the competitor. 80th minute of play, and Cameron Smith chases a chip over the top and catches it. I mean, talk about inspiration. How good is that? Christian Welsh now with the ball from Melbourne, and that will do us here at GIO Stadium. One at home and one on the road for the Melbourne Storm. Runners-up from last year. I think they've shown us enough in the first 2 weeks. They have what it takes to beat a pointy end of the season again in 2019. As was the case last week, 4 tries to 2. But tonight, at GIO Stadium, full-time, Melbourne 22, Canberra 10.